Article 18 is our topic for today. And I gotta be honest, this is probably worth more than a 5-minute devotion, but we're gonna give it a shot. This article is concerning free will. And this is one of those topics in the faith where there is an apparent paradox for us. There are two things we know to be true that we cannot reconcile. They appear to conflict for us, and it's really tempting to change them or to shift them somehow so they fit our reasoning. But kind of a hallmark of Lutheran theology is that when we come across these paradoxes, these tensions, we say, God can do what he wants, so we're just going to hold both things true and leave it at that and not try to dive into exactly how it works because we can't understand everything that God does. So here's this balance in free will. We acknowledge that humans have free will. We've been endowed with this freedom of will, this freedom to choose. But we acknowledge that if given the choice between right and wrong, we will always choose wrong. And anytime we choose right, it is the power of the Holy Spirit working in us. It is God helping us to do right. It is God making us do right. So we have free will, but we always choose wrong. So it's like, is it free will? Like, we're getting dangerously close to philosophy here, which is something I tend to avoid. Not my forte. But it's a difficult thing, right? Especially if you are an American. Like, that's one of our foundational, we have free will. We're endowed with free will. We're independent. I make my own choices, pull myself up by my bootstraps, whatever your shtick is. So it's really hard to say, well, you can't do this without God. But that's the reality. You can't do good without God. And kind of there's a little bit of a distinction that's worth making that this article does make, and that is, our relationship with God, practically speaking, we have no free will. Because we would choose wrong, we would choose separation from him, and his Holy Spirit works faith in us. And this is one of the issues we have with a lot of our brothers and sisters in other denominations, right? Because even when it comes to faith, at some point you have to at least choose God. You have to accept Christ in your life, whatever their language is. But we say, no, you can't even do that right. We can't even do that right. We have to rely on the Holy Spirit to do that, to bring Christ into our lives. He does 100% of the work. We do 0% of the work. But the caveat they make, the kind of distinction they make is our free will plays out a little bit more when it comes to our relationship with each other, with our righteousness before men, right? So there's a little bit more freedom there, but the argument is still, if I'm doing the right thing, say with my wife, I do the right thing in serving her in a certain way, and I put aside my own needs to serve my wife, which is a good thing. That's something I'm called to do. The reality there is, even that is the Holy Spirit is working in my life, because we come down on this. And if you kind of need a refresher, you can go all the way back to the article concerning sin. We already covered that one. The reality that all of our decisions will be the wrong ones if left to our own devices. So we have free will, but we're unable to choose right without God's support. Like I said, it's a really tough thing to understand. I hope this was helpful. I hope it was clarifying. If not, please ask your questions down below. I'll do my best to get to them, to hopefully give you some more clarity. But like I said at the beginning, this is one of those things where our understanding only goes so far, and we're kind of satisfied with that. because we know what God has told us, and we're like, well, we'll leave it at what you told us. So with that, brothers and sisters, go in peace. Serve the Lord. Thanks be to God.